Try fam, can I get some love in the chat, please? It is the 5th episode of the 2nd season, and you can see we are back to the live format for a little bit. Without further ado, let's get into it. You can say hello to the awesome Try fam members. What's up, everybody?
What is good, everybody? We're back. We made it back again. Back to Twitch because we were like, hey, you know what? We missed you guys so much that we just had to return. And we want to say shout out to everybody who is here for sticking with us as we have been through some ups and downs with our stream schedule, but we're coming back to some normalcy. And I don't want to make any promises, but I feel like we're pretty set and solid with our structure.
I refuse.
But before we get started, I want to introduce my awesome co-host, as always, starting from the man in the middle, the bespectacled one, the dreadlocked dread. Kill him slowly.
Why I gotta be a dread though?
Dreadlock.
No, just because I got dreads don't mean I am a dread, you know?
The dreadlock dreadnought. There you go.
Dreadnought. Okay, alright, cool. Let's go with that. Anyway, it's your boy Kill Him Slowly. As you know, it's just me.
And then all the way to my right, the cool with the coolest cowlick and the bespectacled one as well, Mr. Silly Willy himself.
They call me Conan O'Brien.
Please do not sue him for the cowlick. 100%. Dude, we've got
Imagine getting sued for your hairstyle.
Who could legitimately make that argument, though, before we really get started on anything else? Who could legitimately make an argument that their hairstyle is so unique that they could literally sue you for it?
I have no positive answers. I'm gonna be honest.
I actually have one slightly safe answer. I think. Mr. T.
He got inspiration from like Marvin the Martian, bro, with the broom on top of his
where
head.
he gets the inspiration from.
I really can't see Mr. T taking cues from Marvin the Martian. That would be the craziest segue. But that being said, speaking of segues, we want to segue right into what I'm going to start calling the fun section of the show. First part, we just wanted to have in the background something that we found on the interwebs that we thought would make you smile.
Literally a clip that he found a minute before we started. Like, hey, let's put this at the top of the show.
Cause why not, dude? It's a dog riding a skateboard. Come on, bro. Look at him whip. Dice is already happy. Listen, I knew Dice was gonna like this off the rip.
My man wants him to be the Air Bud of fucking skateboarding. All right,
he already is the Air Bud.
I was gonna say he already is the Air Bud of skateboarding now.
He may want to actually sue Air Bud. You know what I mean? Or Air Bud may want to sue him. So, speaking of suing, Sony gets sued. Also, price hikes. What is going on with Sony? I don't understand. I get that they're trying to say, like, they're trying to be like the car industry and claim like a chip shortage basically to jack up the prices on PlayStations. This is absolutely bananas though. Like, guys, what are you guys thinking about the price hikes? I'm gonna pull up the article while you guys talk. Start with Malik.
Yeah, I mean, if you really want my honest opinion, I'm a little 50-50 on it, to be real. And once Julian pulls the article up, he'll be able to really get down into what it says. But essentially, the U.S. isn't going to experience any price hikes, but it seems to be happening in all other major countries around the world. So I don't know. This may be American of me to say, but like, you know, sucks for you. I'm American. I ain't got to pay more. But then there's the whole like, well, why do they gotta pay more? And eventually it is most likely gonna come to us. You know, I don't see our country, you know, holding out with the price hikes, given that every other major country has gone through it. So
I mean, there is something to be like, how much of this can just be attributed to inflation?
I don't feel like,
because like that's the only thing I would say is like, is this just like inflation stuff? Because like obviously that also sucks. And
I think they directly referenced the chip shortage and the material shortage.
So basically, the new price hikes that they made is going to be for PS5 in Europe is going to be 550 euros, which I think the original one was 450 euros if I'm not mistaken. So it's like a €100 increase. The UK up to 479. I don't know if that's quid, pounds. I'm not sure what they're using over there. The UK just had to be difficult. Japan 60,478 yen because who cares about numbers. China 4,299 yuan. Australia 799 Australian dollars.
Jesus.
But again, it has to be relative to what that means.
Yeah.
You know, like we don't know. We don't know. Every Australian dollar could be like a penny for all we know. Mexican dollars, which I believe are just pesos. I don't know why they say MXN here. Says $15,000.
Oh, because it's called the Mexican.
The Mexican peso. Okay. Yeah, the PS5 is worth 14,999 Mexicans.
What?
What?
See, this is the kind of stuff that we could cut out of the final recorded show.
We haven't edited it out, so.
So basically prices are up about $100. You know what I mean? $50 in some areas, $100 in other areas. Like it's rough right now. It's hard out here for a pimp. We're trying to make the money for the rent, and PlayStation is saying they're not going to be selling these at a loss. So all countries besides America, get ready to pay.
Okay, admittedly, now that I'm seeing what you were talking about with the MXN 14,000, it's like that's actually kind of funny.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Only in Mexico, though, do they have just like unnecessarily premium quality components going into all of these machines, like just gold-plated PlayStations.
It's like the controller is made out of diamonds.
Exactly.
All
VVS diamonds.
The discs themselves are like tempered like steel and like carbon fiber or something.
Anything going up $100 like a gaming console right now just feels like wrong and unnecessary. Like I understand that I actually no, I don't understand. Like what are you trying to compensate for here? I don't necessarily get
Well, that's
it.
sort of what I'm getting at earlier. Is like
This is in direct response to the equipment shortage.
Well, it says, if I may quote for this for a second, from the PlayStation blog itself, the global economic environment is a challenge that many of you around the world are no doubt experiencing. We're seeing high global inflation rates as well as adverse currency trends impacting consumers and creating pressure on many industries. Based on these challenging economic conditions, SIE has made the difficult decision to increase the recommended retail price of PlayStation 5 in select markets across Europe, Middle East, Africa, Asia Pacific, Latin America, as well as Canada. There will be no price increases in the United States. And Julia already did this. But yeah, so it seems like it's both. It seems like it's geared towards the inflation rates, and like, currency trends. But why would that not affect America?
At the end of the day, I think that like the idea that these have to be sold at these higher rates, especially to like places like Africa, certain parts of Asia where they don't even have that much access to begin with, is kind of wild to me. Like they're all being manufactured from the same place. So like what is the delivery? Are people just stealing them?
It's not even just that for me either. It's like you don't see Nintendo or Microsoft doing this. Like you're talking about the economic trends going on around the world. I mean, Xbox is still the same price, and Nintendo is staying with the price that they are. Why are you being special in this situation? I mean, this could be like everybody's planning on doing it. Like all three companies are planning on doing it, and Sony's just the first one to take a step.
No,
But it's been weeks.
Microsoft has come out and specifically said that they're not going to do this.
Yeah, so I don't really see why. And I mean, I get it. Microsoft has the excuse of being able to say, they're a multi-billion-dollar corporation. Whether or not the Xbox, sells well doesn't really matter. They still make, Windows. But then you have Nintendo. What about Nintendo?
Nintendo just basically re-released the same console, just slightly bigger, and was like, "You guys buy this," and then everybody
But
bought it.
but it's good though. That's the
Untitled
only reason
Chapter.
why we don't complain. But
Like,
it's good though.
it's not good. It's the same
It's,
console.
bro, you
I'm
look
talking
at
about
what
I'm talking about the differences between the Switch and the Switch OLED. I'm not talking about.
we're not talking about incremental upgrades right now. All
That's what
right,
I'm. That's what I'm talking about.
I was thinking about generational upgrades. You know, we went from Wii U to Nintendo Switch. You
I'm
know,
not knocking them in terms of innovation across their consoles. What I'm saying is the reason that they don't have to price hike their console is because they just made a slightly better version of it and then price hike the shit out of that. So Kawhi Bree, I want to get to the question he had, which is how much should it cost? To be fair to Sony and any other person, any other company that makes a console, a lot of times they do sell these at a loss in order to keep up with the competitive market. So, like the idea that they are very comfortable selling these at a loss because they know they're going to make their money on the back end, both with their contracts with other game developers, as well as the monthly services that they offer, like PlayStation Now, PlayStation Plus. You
and,
know,
and you're forgetting the most important thing: the software, the games themselves.
that
Yeah.
was the first thing I said.
Oh, was it? I'm sorry.
So
Excuse me.
you're not wrong. No, because I mean it's a valid point. Like it's it is a luxury, and like how much should it cost? Because like like those are both very valid points. The only thing I would say to that though is that couldn't you also argue then that like yeah, but it's still my money, and therefore I'm allowed to have like expectations and demands about things that I'm supporting and paying for.
It's true. I mean, you vote with your wallet. That's always the ultimate
That's
thing.
what I'm saying. Exactly. Like that doesn't necessarily take away from the fact that like it's still something that you're putting your money, like you worked hard for the money that you're using to pay for it. Like it's not unreasonable to think that you should be able to have some say in something. They care, which they should.
And like here's where people kind of mess it up at is with brand loyalty, right? And you're just like I'm team iPhone because I have blue bubbles, and you're like, bro, like
Dude, oh my god, it's so funny you mentioned that. I was literally just saw this meme of a Tinder conversation where a guy starts out by saying, "Hey, sorry by the way, you might come up as green text because I have an Android," and the response back he gets is, "Ew, grow up and get an adult phone, weirdo."
like it's like a real thing. And so what should have been the reaction across the board to the PlayStation thing was for a normal consumer is to say I'm just switching to Xbox now. You know what I mean? Like, and it sucks that the parity is between Xbox, PlayStation, PC, and Switch, and there's not more options. But I think a lot of people what you hope for is that a lot of people are gonna make that leap and just say, you know what, forget this. Like you're not about to just jack up prices on me just because you can. We've seen it across the board with the phone companies at first with selling the adapter piece separate from the phone. We've seen it now with PlayStation. We've seen it with computers. We've seen it with various, especially electronic equipment, where people are just trying to jack these prices up strictly because they can, for real, for real. Uh, and like just it's not that you got to boycott, just man, like consider leaving, like consider taking your dollar elsewhere. DJ Vlad has had some thoughts about gamers and how much they play games. For all those that are unfamiliar, DJ Vlad is a hip hop interviewer slash like personality. It's been around in the hip hop industry for I don't know 20 so odd years. He's probably interviewed, if you can name a rapper, they probably they probably are have been interviewed by DJ Vlad. And he has decided to come out on Twitter and make some comments. He says, as an adult, playing video games for long periods of time is a form of depression. If you don't believe me, ask yourself this. Think about the 100 greatest moments from your life. Do any of those moments include video games? Probably not. And this comes from a lifetime gamer. DJ Vlad has set Twitter ablaze with the comments, with major personalities chiming in, from Kevin Durant, the YouTube personalities like Blackie Speaks and other people. Malik, how you feeling about my man DJ Vlad?
All right, so here's the thing about this. Before I actually give my
Can you
feelings,
pull the Twitter up on the thing?
oh yeah, definitely. So people can see this audacity that this man had. But before I get into how I feel on the matter, I think the thing to take in here is how this is worded. I think he has a point that he's trying to get across that's muddled up by the lack of elegance in getting across what he's really trying to say. Like if you look at this, once it hops up there, if you look at this and like read it back to yourself, it reads to you as nothing but an insult to people who like spend their time playing video games. I mean, he does make a later addendum, but it still feels like a slap in the face. It's like essentially if you don't do esports or essentially like do reviews of games, you are nobody. If you ain't G4 TV or in 100 Thieves, you're nobody, bro. Stop playing games. Stop putting these hours in. It's unnecessary. So to just get to it, my point, how I feel is like this is wrong. Like if you're taking it at face value straight up, this is wrong. This is just no, depression doesn't work like that. I mean, kind of, but if you're saying it like this, then you're saying like the dude who collects watches is depressed. Like he spends all his time collecting and fixing watches. Like, oh, he's socially inept and depressed because he collects watches. That doesn't make sense to me.
So, well, I know you're kind of coming into this kind of off the shotgun, but how do you feel about this?
This is somebody that's like projecting their own feelings of like they're okay. So two things to be clarified are video game addiction is real.
Yes.
Very real.
And it
Yes.
is a recognized and legitimate condition by the World Health Organization, not to be dismissed in any way.
Wait, talking about DJ Go Touch Grass.
Again, you interrupt people for these jokes.
I love these things. Listen, I'm gonna point it out when I see it. All right, I'm gonna try my best not to throw this entire thing into disarray.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. Thank you for
No,
appreciating
it's
the
too
joke.
late.
So yeah, so like that is legitimate, and there is also something to be said about like, obviously, yes, the Go Touch Grass thing is a tongue-in-cheek joke that I'm people.
I mean,
But
he
there
really
is
did just
something
say
to
Go
be
Touch
said,
Grass.
like when I have actually like used walks to kind of get over like difficult periods. Like getting the endorphins going is like, get your mind going, just like get some blood flowing and feeling good again. That said, this is a very, very specific, very narrow-minded hot take.
If you're
It
talking
feels
about
like it's
100
unnecessarily invalidating memory or invalidating accomplishments, good memories had.
if you're talking about 100 greatest moments, I don't see why a game wouldn't be in there. We're talking about 100 greatest moments. We're talking about the top 10 greatest moments in your life. And you know what? Maybe someone's top 10 greatest moments
No,
is
that's
like
exactly what
I
I'm
don't know,
saying.
beating his
Right?
brother at a game or
Yeah.
something like that. Like
He
I guess my
he
point was
also
more of
he
is
also
like it's
references this. I kind of have like the adverse feel about this because he's making a distinction that like as an adult playing video games for long periods of time, as he said in his addendum, which is like double digit plus hours per week, is a form of depression. Which again, it may not be true for everyone across the board, but I think for a lot of people that this does hold a lot of validity in their lives. Mine personally, I know how this works. I know
the
when I could.
first sentence isn't inaccurate. I mean, I don't know if it's a form of depression. I would say I don't know if that's just the right wording of it, but it's my
I think it's a coping mechanism.
sure
Is what
for
it
sure.
really.
But then immediately after that is when it becomes an attack.
I don't even think that this is an attack. I think we're looking at this like it's like a lot harsher than what he's saying. He didn't come at anybody for saying like well, you play games, therefore, you know what I mean, you're a bad person. He just said, think about these moments in your life. How many of those moments include video games? And he's like, they're probably not. And then like for me, there is nothing in here that I actually take offense to. If anything, I just kind of relate to it and I understand the point that he's coming from. I understand when there are points that you can say are like, hey, I need to be doing other things other than playing video games. I've done that this week. We talk about this with social media addiction. We talk about this with reality TV addiction, or a lot of different kinds of addiction and coping mechanisms that we use. Now that it's come to
And
video,
again, if he had said all of what you would have just said, then there wouldn't have been this reaction.
Well, like I said, the original issue with this isn't necessarily the message that he's trying to get across. The message that he's trying to get across is very genuine. It is essentially saying that, long period, like, video game addiction is depression, is what he's trying to say in this paragraph. Like I said before, he just didn't word it correctly. This, no matter how you look at it, feels like a spit in the face to people who play video games, like, and I get that how Julian can understand this, like, because I get it too. Like, I'm reading it and I understand
Oh, I get
what
it. I'm
trying
just
to
saying that
say.
the wording just did not do like
It exactly. It's
a
just
genuine
oral
message
wording.
got lost because I really honest to God think that if you had just taken out that middle section or just like reworded it somehow, that didn't make it like trying to take away something and just like saying, hey, go out and like recognize this or like make a statement about it or something, then it would have been much better.
If he'd have just left the first sentence, like, he really didn't
Or that.
have to add the rest.
let me
And
put it to you
look,
this way.
if he had said, look, if they had literally read, as an adult, playing video games for long periods of time is a form of depression, and this comes from a lifetime gamer.
Yeah, people have been like, yeah, there's definitely
Yeah.
been times where I've used gaming as a like, people would be like, yeah, I've done this.
There is no need for me to really recontextualize it. Like, one, I'm always an advocate of a hit dog will holler, right? So a lot of people I think that are responding to this are probably people who do have issues with video games, I'm sure, right? I can't make that inference 100%, but if I just had to take a wild guess, that's what I would say. Besides for saying that he's wrong, right? What can you actually take out of this that is like offensive, like to you? Kill Him Slowly, Silly Willy TV, anybody else who's in the chat right now, take just the first part, not the addendum, and be like what are you mad about? I don't understand.
Okay, you have the audacity to say that within the 100 greatest moments of my life, video games isn't in there, and if it is, I'm depressed because of that, which is balderdash.
Exactly what my
That's
take is.
but that's not what he said. Those are two
Yeah, that's
complete.
exact. No.
Those are
No,
two.
that's
Those are
literally
two
what
separate
he
things.
says.
No, I'm sorry. You can try to argue this, but that's exactly
Hi,
what he says.
I'm not against you, but what I'm saying is that like you can't try to interpret a message and then say that is what he said when he very clearly said, think about all those moments and then do they include video games?
You interpret it as that's not what he said. I interpret it as that's exactly what he said. And that sucks because, like, to me that immediately comes at a memory I have of playing a game with my brother and then, like, years later, like, playing the game myself, and what we'll talk about, like, a good game for this, and the game I'm specifically referencing is Final Fantasy VII. Like, I played that game. I was alive back then. I played that with my brother. I didn't really understand all the, deeper nuances to the game. And then when I got older, the remake comes out and I get to play it as a fresh experience for myself. The game itself, and I see him reference something like this in one of his tweets where he says, "You are enjoying the moment with your
Your
family member
brother.
of your friend," but and he's saying the game is the backdrop.
Yeah.
No, it's not the backdrop. The game is the catalyst. The game is the entire reason why we were able to have this connection. Like, and
No, I had the
it's
exact
because
same
of those
experience
games.
with Splinter Cell actually.
Like, you can't call something a backdrop and like essentially disparage the memory of what a game is just because you shared that game with a person. Like, it takes all those pieces to create that memory. It's not just being with that person in some cases. I mean, for other people, of course, but like for me, no, it was more than just my brother. It was the game. It was that old ass basement. It was a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
I also am on the exact same page as everybody else. I understand ultimately what the message he's trying to send. But what I will say is that in the same way that like there is something to be said about self-awareness and reading the room, like be aware of the fact that like unless you're ready prepared to respond to backlash if people don't like it, think about the exact like wording of what you want to say, because again, if he had started it with the as an adult, that sentence, and ended it with "and this come from a lifetime gamer," the exact same message would have gotten across, but it would have been I think it would have been entirely perceived as just like this is just like a statement about like, yeah, maybe go out and receive help if you think it's a problem.
Yeah, and to be honest, he hasn't like really had like a negative reaction to any of this. Matter of fact, he's been in the comment section, which I actually want to get into now. He clearly hasn't like backed down from this statement at all. He hasn't edited it. He hasn't deleted it. He even like there was a poll to say whether or not he was gonna delete it, and he's like, nope, like I'm not doing that. Regardless of how you feel, he stood on the quote.
So I give him credit for standing by what he said and not being wish-washy, but like I don't like, because like, okay, so then
support it, yeah.
So then like this comment of itself, like for everyone in the comments claiming that some of the greatest moments in your life and come from gaming, you are truly letting life pass you by. Like that is straight up like saying like if any of your top 100 moments are in fact from gaming, then you're a loser and you need to get out. Any sort of message is getting lost in like this like weirdly antagonistic addendum that you're putting onto this. At the same time, I'm definitely having read it. I'm like, I mean,
can you scroll back up to the Simpsons one? I love that.
Old man yells at cloud.
So then he actually responded to a bunch of these comments on here. Just showing.
Well, we just hit 10 million impressions on speed. I'm as surprised as anybody. The very next comment is this.
No maidens.
That's
no maidens.
See, now this is a more valid thing that I would say. Like, shout out to the hundreds of people DMing me who have been dealing with real video game addiction and depression. If you don't think you're one of them, then that's cool. But it's a real thing if you don't want to admit it or not. Like that's a completely valid statement to make. Like, yeah, if you don't think you're pervert, then that's fine. But it is a real thing.
There is a point of this, and let's be honest, where he is being dismissive, right?
And that's part of the problem, is the dismissiveness actually sort of takes away. It shouldn't, but because of the situation, it does ultimately end up taking away from the message, which is, no, I mean, like, it's a real thing, and like if you need help, seek help.
Shout out to DJ Vlad making people snitch on themselves for the past 20 years. Malik.
This situation is just funny. It is what it is. Like we were all saying here. Good, sincere message masked by terrible wording.
U.S. tells NVIDIA no more GPUs for China. Whose was this? Was this yours, Will? You wanna kick us off with your thoughts on this while I pull up these articles?
U.S. was like, bad China. No more GPUs for you.
It actually is pretty wild. The short version of it is there is lots of tech trade wars going on between the US and China. In order to try to curtail it, I guess in order to address one part of it, I don't know if curtailing is really. It's to stop NoVidia from actually selling $400 million worth of GPUs to China. Okay, so just to clarify, this is for the A100 and H100 chips, which I don't think it's like for gaming. It's more of for, like I said, data center stuff, and their fear of it was to allow for more streamlined spyware.
I mean, I kind of get it from an international sense, right? It's like, listen,
oh yeah,
if I know that these people are going to use this stuff against me, why would I allow you to sell them to me? Like, that's basically like facilitating cyber attacks on American governments. What are you gonna do with all these? What are you gonna do with all these GPUs?
We're remastering Space Cadet, that free-to-play paintball game that you got with Windows operating systems.
Yo, speaking of a free-to-play paintball game, do you guys remember Splatterball? Oh, I'm sorry. Well, paintball. I'm talking about. Do you guys remember Splatterball?
No, I do not.
Y'all might be a little too young for this, man. It was like a web browser-based first-person shooter game That was like about a paintball. I don't know why that game was so fun. I'm sure if I played it now, it would be hot garbage. But geez,
No, I'm
whatever.
looking it up now. Wait, hold on. We're gonna see in real time what this pops up on my screen. Oh, is this just like a now defunct site? This is all that it displays.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's playing Splatterball in 2020. Yeah, but basically the game was just, it was a browser based like first person shooter game that was like, to me when I was a kid, super fun. I just remember I was like, I wanted to play this at like all times. And this is like well before like a lot of major first person shooters had come out. Ladies and gentlemen, you're gonna witness my childhood.
The audio is jacked all the way up as high as it goes.
Oh my god.
Very quiet. It looks like Minecraft mixed with like early Elder Scrolls games.
It looks like early Doom.
Right?
Yeah,
This has some very interesting like point and like RPG adventure like vibe to it.
So the gist of this game is you're Doom guy with paint.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, this is definitely like early.
Wait, can we appreciate this? Goddamn, some of you spawn out of nowhere and I'm splattered. Lol. Alpha. Yup. I would do a match of this with you guys.
Yeah, I would definitely play Splatterball.
Like, really funny as hell. She's
Yeah,
so
right.
ass.
This is just like someone took Doom and gave it a weird skin. I don't like it.
You might as well play GoldenEye or something.
Watch that actually be how somebody made this game. Was they just ripped the guts from Doom and reskinned
I mean, those are definitely the textures from like the old like Packard Bell computers. When like like the screensaver they had where it kept going through the brick walls.
Yo, for real though. Look, they have a Blue's Clues style like notepad with a mini map on it. Like, and y'all like lay off this game.
The bottom right looks like you're playing Mario.
Look at those flowers. Look at those flowers. Those are high textured flowers. Okay.
What an amalgamation of like multiple video games just thrown into one. Like, here you go.
Yeah.
I do have to say though, the way that the splatters work is really like a nostalgia throwback.
I feel like that's the only good animation here in the trees. For some reason, the trees are animated very well.
The trees are a real feel right now.
I feel a little hurt. Everybody it's just like
you opened your childhood up to us, and we just shat all over it.
Alright, so we were talking about chips from China, and this is the game that they were going to be playing with all those chips. We just want to have big Splatterball.
They're gonna remaster Splatterball.
Oh, dude, Splatoon 3 is out too. BT dub.
What's his name? Mr. Coco?
Mr. Coco.
Mr. Coco. Mom might have killed that game from him.
Please, Yoshi, please. When we say Mr. Coco, just put him in the corner somewhere.
The last topic we're talking about today is Validate. Struggling singles in your area. Validate is a romance sim that is going to be coming out that features a predominantly queer cast that seems to have some pretty fun elements if you're into dating sims or romance games, as well as some pretty funny banter from what we saw.
I gotta say though, I like the artwork.
I mean, artwork's good, and I mean, like you guys said, I'm down with the idea. I could be a guy charming the pants off of another guy, girl, guy, girl, non-binary thing, whatever. I get all the pants. I don't give a fuck.
So one of the things that is supposed to set this apart is the fact that like most of these people are going through some form of like struggle or depression in their own personal life that they kind of have to deal with, and that's kind of what the name Validate means. Most of these people have been out of the dating game for a while.
Can I just read aloud the 2 bullet points beneath Amhari Abdi?
Yes.
If I mispronounce that. Bitches love drama in the workplace until it involves them. Lesbians born after 1995 can't cook. All they do is eat ramen, buy 7 wedding rings, eat hot chips, and cry.
This is just mean. This is just mean.
it's
That's what I was saying. The banter in this
It's
game.
really
That's not
savage.
banter. That's just mean.
That's savage as hell. I love it.
I think it's dope too. Is like you get like an element of the culture in here too. You know, like and black people know what I mean. We say the culture.
No, yeah, I do think this game is like pretty dope. As you say, you say they like handle like relationships and like narrative wise, it gets kind of messy. But
here's sweet.
I think
Keep going.
that's really dope because relationships for people that are in relationships, have long-term relationships, whatever, aren't all pretty and rainbows. Like if you know anything about dating sims, like that's essentially what all those types of games are. So one that's like tackling more modern and like astute issues that are in relationships is pretty dope.
Oh, but you can fish everybody. Okay, I'm sold.
I can fish. What?
But yeah, so for anybody that's out there that wants to try this, do it. Support some.
I just need to see the fishing mechanic. Like, is it good? If it's not good, I'm gonna be upset.
Yeah, and we will say for the record that this does feature an all BIPOC LGBTQ staff, or not all LGBT, but all BIPOC staff.
Okay, wait. Here we go. Here's gameplay of somebody playing.
But that's not gameplay of someone playing. But okay.
Yeah, she is getting into it. Go ahead, girl.
Kind of enjoy.
Ooh, girl, like your ass on fire. Like your ass on fire. Yeah, let's hear her commentary.
I had to mute Kanye on Twitter because it just he really just makes me feel a loss for humanity.
Oh my god. Look, anybody get busy. I don't need to see all this. I just want the fishing gameplay.
Yeah, but if you're in the mood for a dating sim and you
Oh,
Lee,
I think that's the hill that you have to die on.
So guys, we should announce this, right? Not even announce it, but just let the community know. Everybody hold up their grenades. Everybody hold up their grenades. You know what I mean?
On live stream, everybody hold up your weapon.
Everybody hold their grenades. All right. So these right here in our hands are for when we are ready to die on a specific hill that we believe very strongly about. Whether it was me with DJ Vlad, whether it was Malik and his random points that he makes no sense on, or Will in the times that he's feeling very spirited about his political situation / other
I don't
things.
think I actually did anything tonight except for like
not tonight. But yes, when we're got a hill worth dying on, we gotta pull our grenade, we gotta pull the pin, and then like we just gotta hold it and get ready to chuck it when we find a hill worth dying on.